Welcome to another episode of the Late Bloomer Actor. It is with a heavy heart that I make this message. I would like to dedicate this episode to a great friend and fellow Adelaide actor, and I'm sure he'd agree, a late bloomer himself perhaps, Kyle Robertson. He unfortunately passed away the weekend prior to the release of this episode. Kyle was a very well-known and respected actor here in the Adelaide community. Both he and I have travelled together on a similar path as actors under Nick Buckland, Karina Gunn and Crystal Cave at B&G Talent. Kyle jumped on all the possible training courses he could, and it was paying off, with recent credits in The Tourist alongside Jamie Dornan and Danielle McDonald, as well as the recent Roadkill feature. I've been fortunate to work on set alongside Kyle myself, and notably a MAP student film called Locals Only, as well as the 2020 Stan Christmas feature, A Sunburned Christmas, which was also today's guest's first meeting with Kyle. Kyle will be truly missed in the Adelaide community, and I would like to take this opportunity to say, rest in peace, mate. I'll see you on set. Now, I would like to introduce to you all another wonderful actor, in my humble opinion, my son, Connor Clark. I've asked Connor to come on the show as he is at the commencement of his acting journey, and he's about to start his first year at Flinders University studying a Bachelor of Performance in Acting, under the guidance of recent guest to this podcast, Tiffany Lindell Knight, among other lecturers on this wonderful course. So, no bias or favoritism here whatsoever. Please enjoy this very insightful episode with Connor Clark. Wherever you are, this is the Late Bloomer Actor coming to you live. It's February, and this is episode 2. And we have in the room today a early bloomer actor. He looks very familiar to me. Let everyone know who we're talking to today.
I'm Connor Clark. I am the son of the Late Bloomer Actor.
I thought you looked familiar. And how are you this evening, Connor?
I'm good. I'm ready. I'm great.
And where are you calling in from?
About 7 meters in front of you.
Well, I did consider putting us in the room together like I've done in the past, but using Riverside, the recording works much better when we've got our own lines. So I get a better edit and it looks better in the end, especially for the YouTube. So obviously you are here because you're an actor. And my podcast has always focused on late bloomer actors and the journey that I go through and what I've learned along the way in bringing in people in the room. But I decided I've always wanted to have you on the show because that was a given because you're an up-and-coming actor, and we're going to talk about that in a sec. But this is a pivotal month for you, isn't it? What is happening for you this month as an actor?
I'm preparing and getting ready for university, where I'm doing the Bachelor of Performance of Acting. So it's
Scared.
a lot. Yeah.
Scary.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really cool because I want to talk to you about that on two fronts. To hear what your experience has been so far, because it's something I always talk about as an actor, that I won't do any formal education for acting, especially like a 3-year degree that you're about to embark on. But also on the other front, for the younger listeners here who may be considering it for themselves in the future, because not every young actor goes straight into drama school straight out of high school like you are, which is very fortunate for you. So obviously you'll be able to pass on a couple of things that you've learnt so far. And what I would like to obviously do is then come back to you in 3 years' time, if the podcast is still running, which hopefully it is, and we can have a chat about what your journey was for those 3 years, if in the meantime you don't get a role on Spider-Man, the Australian version, or something like that. So
that would be nice.
So how old are you, Connor, for our listeners out there?
I'm 18 years old as of December 2023.
Yeah, born in Adelaide, South Australia, to some wonderful parents, I believe, David and Kelly.
So I've heard.
Who's selling themselves here? Hey, mate, I wanted to quickly talk to you. I've got some more formal questions about your acting and about things that you've done so far and where we're going. But I just wanted to open up. We recently travelled to the USA, if you can remember.
Yes.
If the 15-hour flights haven't truly devastated you and changed your character and persona, and we laugh a lot that our whole trip, which was 3 weeks in the States from New York to Los Angeles, so coast to coast, flew from the eastern states to the middle of the country and then drove the rest of the way. But was essentially a ghost alien movie themed holiday, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
There's a lot of that
uh,
stuff.
which was all of us. We're all into that. Kelly was really into the ghost and alien side of things, and me and you were into the movie side of things. So, what was your favorite movie or TV related components of our trip?
There was a lot of different types of things, but the main ones would be locations, like the friend's apartment in New York. When we saw it, I was only halfway through the series, but now that I've watched it fully on my own, it means a lot more now that I've
Mm.
actually seen it. And New York is full of just New York is Spider Man, and so see all the different Spider Man locations, Flatiron
I,
Building, Empire State, and that.
I thought that was funny because I've never played the game, but it was just every day. I've swung on that. I've climbed on that. I've swung it. Oh,
Yeah.
it looks a bit different, but you said a lot how good they got it
Mm.
in how close it was to the actual city, other than the distances between pertinent
Yeah,
locations,
they
wasn't
would
it?
they would they would cut some parts out to make it more playable, but
Mm.
yeah, the rest of it was pretty much the same. And it was like with Los Angeles as well, because the Grand Theft Auto 5 is that city's based off Los Angeles, and so um they shrunk Los Angeles from what it was all the way down to a very small portion. But there were still moments where I could be like, I've driven through here, or I remember a mission that was there. So it was just
I
really nice to see all the places I recognized just
I
from
crashed my
playing
motorbike
games.
off this pier. I remember you
Mm-hmm.
saying
Yep.
that. And I think Los Angelinos would love the fact that LA was made smaller because it's a pretty
Mm,
big place, wasn't it?
yes.
And I found the big thing, and you having watched Friends, is that it was funny because the tour that we did for movie and TV shows was almost not a movie tour; it was a Friends tour, wasn't it?
Almost. Yeah.
But Friends wasn't filmed in New York,
No.
was it?
No.
Every time he said this is, it was always with the caveat, but they didn't actually come here, or it was just used
Yeah.
as
So it's
locations
just the
from
outside shots.
the movie magic, as they say, movie
Mm,
magic. And I want to ask something further, a bit more about our trip there, but I'll come back to that when we've talked about your acting journey so far. So, um, when did you want to be an actor, or when did you know you want to be an actor? Because I've got some little stories about what
yeah.
we thought as parents, but and it'd be interesting to talk about that. But when did you know and decide, yes, this is what I want to do?
Well, I always put you in the story when I'm telling this because I've had to tell it a couple times, especially to
Mm-hmm.
get into the university. I've always paraded around the house in different characters and stuff. When I was younger, I always put on voices, and you were always like, "Oh, you should do acting." And at the time, I was like, "No, it's embarrassing, or it's like something I don't want to get into."
And we're
Um,
talking really quite young then too, wasn't it?
mm,
It was quite a
yeah, like
young and quite a few years. I always piped up, but you started quite young, where I was. You should be an actor.
mm. But once I got into high school and I was choosing subjects, drama was one of them, and I was like, you know what? Okay, I'll give drama a shot. And then I realized I was liking it a lot, and you recommended it again. I was like, okay, I'll give classes a shot and stuff. I'll try it. But I think the thing that made me know for sure that acting and like some theater, but mainly film acting is what I wanted to do was when I first watched this brand new series on the brand new Disney Plus called High School Musical, The Musical, The Series. When
Which we laugh. I still laugh because you come out. I'm watching. Here, let me try it. High School, the musical. No, you're gonna have to
High School
repeat it for me.
Musical,
High School Musical,
The
the
Musical,
musical,
The
the series.
Series.
Yes, that's right.
When when it first debuted, season one, I was still in year eight, and I was always a fan of the original trilogy, obviously, and so I was like,
Mm.
okay, I'll watch this. And then it's just about teenagers in their high school drama class, and just the vibes of that, the characters, and how relatable they were, and how I could relate to the main one, Ricky. He was just me in a lot of ways, minus the. I obviously don't have the musical talent as he does. But
Yeah. Oh, you
um,
don't know that yet, do you?
don't know that. But yeah, the show is what made me think this is what I want to get into.
And is that what I've got a question here? But what inspired you to pursue acting at such a young age? Is that what you would call your like in 10 years' time? If someone asks you the question, what inspired you to get into acting at such a young age? Is that what you lean on then?
It's my main one, yeah.
Mm, mm.
Mm.
And so when you made that decision, I'm trying to remember. That was when did you start? Because you started courses with Buckland and Gunn, which was our agent at the time.
Yeah.
Was that grade 10?
I think I started maybe early year 9 or end of
Mm.
year 10.
So 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Mm. And how were those classes? Because that was your first foray into like real formal
Mm.
acting classes as opposed to the initial drama at your school.
Yeah.
How did you find them, and what were your big takeaways from that?
I found them a bit nerve wracking to start with. I'd never done something like it before,
Mm,
but I got to know the people in the class. They were always moving in and out, changing who was there, but I just learned that once you find like a cast, a group of people that you're familiar with and you work with a lot, acting alongside them just sort of happens naturally. And it
mm,
just became a really comfortable place. I wanted to go there every week. I was always looking forward to the class because I enjoyed being with the people there, and I enjoyed just being able to step away from maths and science in school and instead just stand on a stage for an hour and a half and read a script and different characters.
mm. Awesome. And that's all those little things that start to build up and
Yeah.
develop you as an actor, isn't it? So,
Mm.
and I like what you were saying there, where you got your core little group, and you've expanded that now with Future Vision Productions, and your the director who runs it, Chase Bradshaw. So we'll talk about that shortly as well. But I wanted to quickly go back to our trip in New York, and
Yeah.
we all got to go to our first Broadway show. And
Yes.
for everyone watching on YouTube, I'm just going to stand up a little bit.
Save the clock tower.
Yes, I've got the Back to the Future, the musical T-shirt. Not as
Mm.
hard to say as your musical. So we went to Broadway, and we had obviously a couple of choices with the classics, but Back to the Future was on, and we as a family loved the series of Back to the Future and Michael J. Fox, which is fantastic. And we just thought we got to do it. And
Yeah.
I initially went into it thinking this is going to be either really good or really really cheesy, and I think you're the same opinion as me. It was absolutely fantastic. Anyone listening, if you get a chance to see Back to the Future the musical, it's on in London at the moment, and obviously in New York. And I don't know what the future plans are for it anywhere else in the world, but it is absolutely brilliant. It's just
Mm.
mind blowing, isn't it, Connor?
It was amazing.
Mm. So, what did you take away from that, both as someone just watching it, as a fan of the TV series, as well as an actor? Did it change you in any way, or cement anything for your future acting aspirations?
Well, as just a person watching it, obviously, I was amazed. The music and the songs were just amazing. The set and everything. Um,
How they did some of those sets,
it was
I just
crazy.
a real DeLorean,
Yeah,
and without giving too much away of the whole show, to think that it was flying in on stage was just amazing how they did
still don't know
half
how
of
they did
things.
it.
No.
It, the most I've done in theater wise is like school productions. It's like couple stage blocks as a couch, get some costumes from some op shop to look like some detective
Mm,
from the 1940s. Um, but just seeing Back to the Future, seeing the set, the moving things in the floors to move props around, all the costumes, the lighting and special effects and everything. It it's a really good way at seeing where you can get to if you continue down with theater.
mm, mm.
But
Because go on.
as an actor, it was I understood it was a lot. I mean, like the first intermission for the show was like over half an hour in, maybe, and you realize that's a
Mm,
lot of lines, lots of things to remember, plus the singing and all the dancing. It acting is, if you're going into theater, if you're going into Broadway especially, acting is not an easy job.
Mm.
There is a lot that you have to physically do, mentally, sometimes even emotionally, for scenes. So it really just showed me what I can get to if I really wanted to work for it.
That's really interesting that you see so much in that. Now you know, with me as well, I've done a little bit of stage work, but because of my shift work, I just can't commit to any stage productions because of the rehearsals, and obviously that's where the differences are with stage stuff. Is there's a lot and lots of rehearsals. You were talking about the complexities of the acting in the theatre space. So that was obviously musical theatre, and I think you've seen a few shows that aren't musical theatre. So where are you leaning now, even though you're at the start of your 3 years of your uni degree? So a lot's going to happen in the next 3 years, and you're going to do acting training on both theatre and film and television. Uh, have you changed your approach to the thoughts of doing theatre? Because you've talked about it before with more of a leaning like me. I just want to do film and TV. But
Mm.
has that made you think differently on both aspects of the enjoyment of it as well as the the experience and the learnings from it?
Yeah, no, definitely. I said before, I don't currently have the musical talents, but that might change, maybe.
Mm.
But it's definitely seeing all the different shows like Back to the Future, and I saw Euphoria when it was showing in Adelaide during my final year of high school.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely changed how I look at it. I was always, I want to do film more. Theater's too challenging. Theater's not as fun. But doing the classes with Buckland and Gunn, it's theater's a bit different in its own special way because you're on stage, you feel more connected to, I guess, your character and the rest of the cast because you're in the moment, you're doing that scene.
Mm-hmm.
On film, if you're doing a scene and you mess up a little bit, you just start again, and sometimes you can just lose that connection to the script, I guess. But a
Mm.
theater, you're that character for that amount of time. So I'm very open to doing either theater or film, whatever opportunity I get, really.
And it'll be interesting to see how that changes you as an actor. I think the teaching aspects of it now is that it used to be one or the other. You became a theatre actor or you became a film and TV actor. But I think that universities teach a balance of both now because now you can take those toolboxes and switch them over. So what you learn from stage, you can bring to film and TV and vice versa, which is
Yeah.
a good thing. So this is probably a question that's a bit early to ask you, but you have had some experience so far, and you've been fortunate to have a couple of auditions with major casting directors out of Melbourne and Sydney. And I'll let you mention the shows if you want to. But how do you approach your roles and prepare for your auditions with the limited learnings and knowledge that you've got so far?
That's yeah, it's a bit tricky to answer with the very limited experience of it. I've had a few auditions. I remember I auditioned for ABC's First Day, um, which I didn't get, but I was able to come back in the as an extra on the background.
Mm.
So
And
it
that
was
was
still
for the
good to
lead.
see that.
That was for the lead role, wasn't it? That you
One
auditioned
of
for
them,
the
it was
young
like
lady.
one of
Yeah.
the
Mm.
lead sides.
Mm.
I sort of, I don't remember where I heard it, but it was really good advice to just go into an audition like you have the part already, and you're just going in to read your lines. So you want to go in, you want to just obviously stand out to the casting director,
Mm.
but in a way that shows that you could be this character. And it's just, it changes it so much from, oh my God, I have an audition.
Yeah.
Are they going to like me? Am I going to do this? What if I mess up? To just reading my lines for my scene. And I've used that in my auditions. I've had a couple just self tapes. I've gone in once or twice, but it really just helps you find your ground and not get
Mm.
too overworked about the fact that this could be a career thing or not.
It's interesting because it will take it takes some actors years and years and years, or sometimes they may never get it to learn and understand
Mm.
that the audition room is essentially they've to make it that far. And I've talked about this a lot on the show is to actually be in the room or to be able to submit a self tape. It means that the casting directors found something that they like about you and they want you to get the role. So to walk in with that kind of attitude is a brilliant way to
Yeah,
start your acting career.
yeah,
Now we were talking before about having your niche, your cohort, your friends, so to speak. So, can you tell us a little bit about working with a Future Vision Productions, headed up by the director and a good mate of yours, I believe, Chase Bradshaw?
yes. It's amazing. I mean, like Chase. I'm gonna gloat about Chase for a second here.
I will too.
He's brilliant. He's younger than me by like nearly 3 years, I think.
Mm,
And his knowledge and his abilities with creating film and just using the camera and his editing, it's crazy. I thought I was good at editing. I thought I was good at filming, but no. When I've been on set and I've been acting in his productions, it's I haven't seen it before from such an indie solo filmmaker.
and
It's
it is
it's
solo, isn't it? He's done it off
mm,
his back. He worked his butt off doing to get money to buy or to
yeah,
hire equipment for that first film that you filmed up at the Mount Barker, the
yeah,
tire place one,
larceny.
Larceny, which
Mm,
I had a nice cameo in, which
yeah,
was fun. And you guys had a ball on that, wasn't it? That was your
it
first
was.
full production valued
Yeah,
thing you
that
put.
was well, it wasn't Chase's. I think Chase had done a previous thing, filmed just in his house with a couple of his school friends, but
Hmm.
that was the first like out of home on a actual, I guess you could say actual set
Definitely.
where it was just like everything was at his hands. He could move things if he wanted. He could do what he wanted there,
Mm,
and that was I think that was technically my first proper on-screen role,
I think so. Mm.
and it was a blast. I had so much fun.
You did, and for all intents purposes, it was a great little film. And it
Yeah.
wasn't just a film; it had complexities in it. You had fight scenes and everything like that. And it was filmed on location at an actual physical tire shop. So
Yeah.
he had the complexities of having managing that for insurance and everything like that. So
Mm.
for a lad of his age to put something together so much, it really showcases where I think he'll be in the future.
Yeah.
And what's your visions that you think he'll do in the future? He's certainly going somewhere, isn't he?
I think he's definitely going somewhere. He's one of those starting out directors that he doesn't just create a film because he wants to. He creates a film
Mm,
because that's what he's doing. It's different in a way. It when you're working on set with him, watching him go about what he does, you can see he has proper care for it. He really enjoys what he's doing and he wants to bring these ideas of his to life. And yeah, I think he's gonna go a lot further in the filmmaking, and I hope he
mm.
doesn't forget about me and lets me keep starring in what I can while I wait for other opportunities. I guess.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see him as he progresses. Not everything's 100% perfect, and he's got lots of things to learn, of course. But
Mm,
to be where he is now, with the limited equipment and knowledge that he has, to see where he's going to take that once he's got training behind him and heaven forbid a budget.
yeah,
When he has a budget and equipment and people to do the jobs that he has to do himself, because sometimes it's really hard as an independent filmmaker because you're wearing 6 hats or 10 hats, and
yeah,
it'll be nice to see him focus on the things that he really really wants to do, and that's the being the director and making the film, so to speak. So
yeah.
that's very exciting for sure. Now, kind of coming back quickly to university, what is now, or what was your expectation? What's your expectation now as you go into it? You're in the early stages at the moment. Just, I think you're at uni at the moment, whereas no one else has started, but
Yeah.
it's not the formal part of the course yet. What's your expectations?
I don't think I'm gonna have a comfort zone well and truly into this year.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about this university course, it's about putting yourself out there, shaking off the embarrassment and the self doubt, and yeah, like get out of that comfort zone. I've noticed it already in the summer intensive we've been doing, which
Mm.
isn't even drama, it's just for general schoolwork. But we've joined in on the morning warm ups and the activities we do, the warm ups. It's definitely just getting out there and realizing you're working together, and it's not just focused on you. Like we
Awesome.
do this, you have to stretch our muscles, obviously. So everyone's on their hands and knees. They're rotating their spine. We're releasing sounds. It's just an auditorium of just groaning, and you can I know it, you can feel very stupid.
Mm.
You'll do your groaning but very quietly. You think everyone's watching and judging, but everyone's doing the same thing as you. Everyone is doing the same silly stupid things, and when you're doing it all together it doesn't really matter how dumb you look
Mm.
because it looks like it's the norm.
Because everyone looks dumb together.
Yeah, so I'm expecting to hopefully in the first year at least be able to shake off that self doubt and the I look stupid and just really like conform myself to theater, I guess, because that's what it
Mm.
is.
Isn't it funny with actors? And we were talking before about how and I always were saying, "Oh, you should be an actor. You're great at this." And but you always came out with this, "No, I don't want to," and you've given the reasons why. And as a good parent as I am, we never really pushed you, did we? We
No.
sort of joked about it more, but I never ever forced you into it and said, "No, you're good at this. You're going to do it." And
Yeah.
it worked out in the best way. You came to us when you were ready to do it. So, um, but as I was leaning towards there, it's interesting your comparisons to feeling scared and worried about coming out of your shell, so to speak, when
Mm.
everyone thinks, well, "Oh my God, no way! You've got
Yeah.
this in the bag." So, do you think that's a common thing for actors that they've all got that really?
100%. You even see it with the top stars nowadays. Some of them don't even watch their own movies because they just can't watch themselves act. Um,
Mm,
and I think that that stems from just starting out, not being able to believe in yourself because you think it's you're doing it wrong, or you're doing it in a way that's not right. And um, it definitely, I think, if you're acting and you don't go through that period at least once of where you think you're doing it stupidly or doing it wrong, then I don't. You might have messed up somewhere
mm.
because you're supposed to doubt yourself at some point.
That's interesting.
Definitely.
It's really insightful and quite mature, your answers to some of these questions, and we've never had a formal discussion about acting with you like this. So this is great for
Yeah.
me as your father to see this, and I think your mother's
Hey,
going to
no
get a bit of
no inside knowledge here. You're not allowed to use this
no,
against me.
you're done for now. It's
No,
recorded.
no.
No, it's interesting, and I've seen a lot of actors in my area, in the independent area, because I do a lot of the student films, so a lot of young actors as well, and a lot of them don't have that maturity or that understanding. It's all about I just want to be a star,
Mm,
and not have that concept of how much is involved. And it's good to see that you're going into 3 years of university knowing what's involved. And now, with all that stuff that comes with acting, and you've already touched on it a bit with the silly animal noises and all the movement and stuff like that, do you see the benefits of the toolbox that you're going to slowly build? I mean, you've had a bit of an insight to Jeff Seymour, the real life actor that I consider a friend and a mentor, and
mm.
I draw so much on what he teaches as an actor, and he um, doesn't knock a lot of that stuff, but the benefits of it, especially at your age, in a 3 year degree, and he has discussed it's the saying the best thing about a 3 year degree is that you're doing the do. You're doing the job for 3 years straight, every day in and out. It's giving you that grounding. So is that what you see you'll get from it?
Yeah. Like everyone, you don't see the At least I don't think you do. Like the you don't really agree with the like warm ups and the like all those like spiritually, I guess you could say,
Mm.
trainings to get used to it.
Because I'm old and I'm insecure. When it comes to that, I get embarrassed, and it's hard
Mm,
to get over that. So when I've done some classes with casting directors or acting teachers, and they do the what I call the silly lessons. I do know what they're there for, but I just can't do them. And
yeah,
whether I could change it, if I did it every day for 3 years, maybe it would, and I can see the benefits of it. But I try to draw on something else to get my back,
yeah,
my acting. But I'm 50 years old. I've got life experiences and everything. I've seen things in my job and things that I do that I can draw on as an actor. But you're 18 years of age, so when you come to that big pivotal role, you need to find a toolbox to make it work, I suppose.
yeah. And I think that toolbox of the silly theater warm ups, I didn't like it at first, and even now, I probably I don't agree with some of it because it's weird. That's what it
Mm,
is. But I think it definitely helps. If I walked on stage and they said prance around like a reindeer, I would I would get self conscious. I wouldn't like how to do it. I'd feel stupid. But those hour warm ups where it's just a big group of people all walking, filling space, doing spins, walking backwards, sideways, all releasing animal noises and
mm,
twisting their bodies in ways you it warms you up to being able to just do group exercises without caring about how you look because you've just done it for an hour. So
mm.
I think having those toolboxes, even as an actor on your own, like just before going into an audition, if you just find a corner and you just do some vocal warm ups while you like move your fingers and find the energy and space around you, it can definitely help, I think.
Awesome. It'd be interesting to ask you the same question in 3 years' time when you finish.
Yeah.
And that being said, that I've talked a lot about the best experience you can get is on set experience, which you've already had as well. So are you mindful of the fact that their 3 years has probably put you out of the acting game for a little while? Do you see the benefits of being out of the game for 3 years, or are you still open to saying if Home and Away ring you tomorrow, you're
I If Home and Away wrong, or if Marvel contacted me, uni's in the past.
Tiffany
um,
Little Knight? There is nothing against
it's
you
nothing
at all,
against you,
anything.
Tiff. I swear.
It's about the money.
Mm.
No. And that
But
makes
no,
perfect sense. And that's happened a lot to people. I've spoken to people who've started at Whopper and stuff like that, and they've got an audition for Home and Away or a movie, and they've had to go and do it, and they've never looked back. So, but then there's others who've done their 3 years
mm.
and walked out, and on day two after the graduation, bang, they're on Home and Away as well. So, pros and
And
cons.
like I could go if I didn't do the uni course, I could go 2.5 years before Home and Away contact me. So it's the
Mm,
same thing. I'd be on it anyway, but
exactly.
I'd have 2.5 years of more experience, more diverse teachings of acting. I could
Mm,
find a different way to present characters. I could find a different way to learn my lines. If I don't do the course in those 2.5 years, I might not do as well as I would.
exactly. Exactly. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you bring home from it and what you learn from it, because I reckon I'm going to get something out of it, because you're going to come home and say, Dad, you're not going to believe this, we did this, and I'm going to take something away from it. So that's what
Mm.
I'm sort of looking forward to that. Hey, as a young actor, do you think your generation perceived the acting industry any differently to me, or do you think we're all on the same playing field?
Huh. You know, I don't know. It depends. I think we're all mostly on the same playing field. I mean, there are some people that view acting and the career of acting as just you know, pretend for a little bit, earn some money. Some people are just like, oh
Mm,
my god, I want to act. Sign me up for Netflix. They don't. A lot of people in my generation, at least, don't understand that acting is more than just prancing around on a stage. Yeah, there's a lot to it. There's a lot of physical, demanding work,
mm,
mental, reading all your lines, preparing for everything. I think my generation and the generation below me, even, um, are slowly losing touch with what acting is because we can see that the arts are dying
Mm.
unfortunately, it's true. My year 12 drama class, we had 5 year 12s doing acting.
Wow.
So there
Mm.
are not many kids going into drama anymore. And I think that shows that people are just losing sight of what acting could be. So I think
Mm.
your generation, not that old, don't worry. You you guys definitely had a better grasp on the whole career, the whole aspect of it. You understood it more and like what it entails, but hopefully we can just like bring it back and keep the arts alive, you
Pushing it
know?
forward. Yeah. Do
Yeah.
you think that the world of technology where we're at now makes it easier for you or harder? Because you would have heard me talking a lot about the input of AI, and it's been big in America at the moment over all
Mm.
their discussions. Do you think that's technology is making your journey easier or better or harder or just different?
It's definitely making it different. Um, just as an actor, I guess it makes it a little bit easier because we just have to film the scene. If people are using the new technology and even AI to do the special effects and stuff in editing, so for it, I still did the acting. I was still on set. It's
Mm.
still me in the video. But my drama teacher even today, he said with all the AI coming out and all the jobs being replaced, drama will be safe because no AI could ever capture or copy the pure expressionism that we bring out in acting and drama.
A human is always going to be a human, I
Yeah.
feel. Yeah.
So I
And I
think
agree with
it
you there.
definitely makes it different, but I don't think it's going to affect too much where
Mm.
I could be going.
And now, following my journey, that, as you have, if someone said to you, "What have you learnt from your dad that you want to ignore or do completely opposite?" Or what have you learnt from your dad that you want to take on board and use yourself? Um, do you have anything that stands out there? Excuse the fridge in the background. I forgot to turn the ice maker off.
I'm not sure. You know, I've watched you do your acting. I've helped you do your self tapes,
Mm. Thank you for that
and
too.
obviously your acting is miles different to
Mm.
me. We may do the same things. We may self tape the same, read scripts the same, but we always perform the characters in a different way. So I think,
That's expected, of course. So that's got nothing to
yeah,
do with father or son. It's an age thing. It's an
mm,
experience thing, isn't it? And that's what
yeah,
every actor brings to it. They bring something different, but based on who they are as a person.
I think what I have learned from you is your determination with the accent trainings and stuff because the more vocal things you can do, the way you can bring out different types of characters.
Mm.
I mean, I was thinking about it today, not to self promote here, but my film Remember That Fight out now on YouTube under Future Vision Pictures, and the 48-hour film Bromance also out on YouTube from Future Vision Pictures. I those the characters I play in there aren't too different. I didn't
Mm.
change much up between them to the point if I put a clip of Bromance into Remember That Fight, you might not realize.
Different stories, yeah.
So I think it's one thing I've learned from you is to learn to be able to bring out different abilities to come across as different characters,
Mm.
like the different accents, the different inflections and tones. Definitely.
Awesome, awesome,
Yeah.
and obviously I'm big on the business side of acting, which I bring up in the podcast a lot, and I have plenty of plans to talk about that. So that's something, and I don't bring this out in a negative way to you, but something that you don't do yet.
Yeah.
I mean, we've set up your casting networks profile and your IMDb. Do you see a need for that now to be on top of it at your age, sort of thing, or are you happy, or could see that no, we could just coast? Coast is not the right word, but we just need to focus on the acting at my age and worry about that later on.
No, I definitely think that the whole business and even advertisement, sorry, advertisement side is important. Um, keep bringing in real life situations here.
That's good.
I was at work the other day, and one of my coworkers came up and he was like, "Hey, I found your IMDb. It's brilliant. You've done a lot." And I hadn't shown him anything. I hadn't talked about anything. He found it on his own.
Awesome.
So I think being able to keep your profile updated on either IMDb or casting networks, or just putting out little things saying, "Oh, here's a new trailer for a thing I was in," or "Here's some photos from when I was on set." Being able to show that you're still going through the journey of acting
Mm.
definitely helps on the business side of stuff.
I love it because you just don't, you never know when the right person's going to see it. So
Mm,
that's good that you're on top of it, because I don't think it's something that will be taught at university. I know the
no,
business side is coming in a little bit. A lot of uni degrees are bringing it in the last couple of months about um, casting and casting networks and profiles and that. So I certainly can see that that's something that actors need to be taught, because I had to learn it the hard way. I had to find out
yeah,
myself or seek it. So that's great. So a little bit about us as a father-son duo in the acting world. Uh, do you find that your experiences and advice differ due to our generational gap? Have have you seen any issues when we've been on set together that you went, "Oh, I wouldn't have done that," or "I didn't see that coming"? I've learned from that.
a little bit, yeah. You're a lot more eager to discuss, I think. When I joined you for just a little student film the other day, you were very open to just talking to the director, saying, "Should I do this instead? I feel like I'd rather do this. Should I move over there instead of going over here?" I don't think, at least right now, I wouldn't be able to do that. I've always just been able to listen to what the director wants me to do, and if
Mm.
they think it should be different, then they'll tell me. Um,
How do you work with Chase in a collaborative way? Do you work in a way where you talk together, or do you
yeah,
just the same thing? So you
yeah,
can openly say to Chase, "What are we doing here? I think we should do this," and you have a
yeah.
discussion.
To Chase, I talk to,
Mm.
and I bring up different possibilities, but that's because he's so on the directing and camera operating side. He doesn't feel what it's like to walk through that scene. So I feel like it could be it's good to collaborate with him. It's easy because we're friends, obviously.
Mm.
I don't feel like if I say the wrong thing, I'm going to get kicked off the set. That
No,
would be
that's
very,
good. And
yeah,
it sets you up for the future when you have that experience and that ability to not tell the director what's happening on, but to ask questions when you have questions. That's the biggest
mm,
thing, I think. So, um, look, I'm going to wind it up, Connor, because I know it's late for you and you do have to be back at university tomorrow.
mm,
I just wanted to quickly get uh, your insight into what has been the process so far to get into university for anyone out there that's thinking of applying in the future, because you were very fortunate, and I think well deserved too, to get in on the first round and to get in straight away. Whereas a lot of people, and you may discuss this in a minute, how many people are knocked out, don't get in straight away. So,
mm.
what did you learn, and what would you give? What advice would you give other young actors or old actors if they want to go for university in applying in the future?
Yeah. Not many people get in.
Mm.
When I went in for my round of auditions, the first day there was, I think like 17 of us, nearly 20, and by the end of that day, four of us were left.
Wow.
I watched a bunch of really well deserving actors walk out the door. So I obviously felt very grateful that I was still in that last thing. And then we came back the next day, and there was an even bigger group again, and some people didn't make it as well. It it's challenging because once you, even if you manage to get past the auditions and past making it, there's the whole usual enrolling in the actual course, applying for your topics, getting your timetable. It can be stressful. There
Mm.
are so many things you need to remember, so many dates that even I can't think of right now. So I think this advice works best for younger actors going into uni. find a reason as to why you're doing it. If you're sitting in that uni room and you watch other actors who did the best scene you've watched, if you watch them walk out the door, if you don't, I think if you don't have a reason for why you're sitting in that room, why you're still in that room, it's not. I don't want to be harsh. Maybe you shouldn't be there because you need to find a reason for why you're doing all of this. It's
Have the right reasons. Is that what you mean?
yeah.
Awesome. And so to finish up, what do you see the future being for Connor Clark, the actor?
Like short term, long term?
Both.
Hmm.
Short term,
Well,
obviously, is 3 years of university degree. So pending the phone call from Marvel, of course. But
yeah. Short term, I'm hoping for a much larger variety of skills when it comes to acting, both on camera and on stage. A much bigger understanding of what acting actually is and how I can be better and be different in it to what I am now. And long term, be Spider-Man. It's a goal.
and at least I know you can get the accent down because you've pretty much got that on your own. You've had a little bit
Yeah, I
of
can.
training with Sandra Bell, who I'm
Yeah,
hopefully having on next month. So whereas I can't
try.
get the accent. So
It
oh, well,
takes
that's fantastic, fantastic, Connor. So you excited with the university? A little bit daunted. It's
Yeah,
long days. It's a bit different to your brothers, where they got to a couple of lessons here and there each week. You're there 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, aren't you?
pretty much. Yeah, it's very intensive.
Mm. Well, I'm certainly looking forward to watching your journey, as is your mother and your brothers and everyone else around as well. So it's
Yeah,
going to be a great experience to watch. I do wish you all the well, and I certainly reckon we'll bring you back on the podcast in 3 years, because I think you'll be a different person and a
yeah.
different actor, but you'll still be mum's little baby boy. So I almost gave away your
Yeah.
nickname then,
Yeah,
but I
no, no,
won't
no,
do
no,
it.
no, no. That is not for public viewing.
All right. So the last word from Connor. Is there anything you want to say to the people listening to the show? Any pieces of advice or words of wisdom?
I'm not very wise. Just it's cringy, it's cliche, but and even I struggle with it. But just believe that what you're doing is what you're meant to be doing, and if it's not, you'll know. But just believe in yourself and just keep going. And when you find yourself sitting on a stage with other adults on your hands and knees making animal noises, you're there for the right reason, and that's going to take you somewhere. So just keep pushing through it. Yeah.
And that's sort of one quick question there is, you're saying with other adults, what's the age range in your group?
Well, um, I don't know if it's going to be in the actual course itself, but right now in the warm ups, we're working with all years in this course, the
Oh,
first years, second years, third years. So,
okay.
and there are people that get into it a bit later in life. So, the youngest we have is 17, and the
Wow.
oldest, I think the oldest is I think like 20, 25.
Wow.
I think
Yeah.
maybe a bit older.
I,
It's very diverse.
Andrew Hell mentioned that a lot with his course when he went to Whopper, because all universities now have really lowered the age of intake for actors, where it used to be older. They used to
Mm,
want you to have that life experience. So it was 25 somethings, but I think 25 is now the max, and now it's
yeah,
a lot younger. So, all right, and final question, Connor, if you had the opportunity tomorrow to work on set with any actor in any role, uh, what would that actor be alongside, and what type of role? Not Spider-Man. You've already mentioned that.
let me think again then. I have a lot of role models that I look up to in acting, but
The
I
what outside of
think
me?
obviously, yeah. I think the main one who's always been like sort of an inspiration even before as I started acting would be the one and only. Tom Holland himself. Um,
Awesome.
his the way he can just perform different characters. I mean, you've seen it from the childish Spider-Man to like something like The Crowded Room, which is a brilliant series. He can just perform amazingly, and if I got the chance to work with him, I wouldn't need anything else in life, I don't think.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
All right. Connor, thank you very much. I know it's late and you've got an early start in the morning, and then I
that's
think
all
you're
right.
back at work again after uni,
Yeah,
aren't you,
yeah.
tomorrow?
No,
No,
no, no,
just
no,
uni
no, no, no.
tomorrow.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you very much for coming along. I know you've travelled a long way
Oh,
to get into the audition room today. So,
long flight, long flight. Thanks for having me.
all right, ladies and gentlemen, that's Connor Clark. Keep an eye on him because this young lad is certainly going somewhere. I do love the way he does support me when I have my downs as an actor. He's there saying, "No, you bullshit, Dad. You've got it." And
Yeah,
but I believe in Connor, and I'm looking forward to watching his journey. Like plenty of actors that I watch, young actors, it's not just because he's my son. He's certainly he's got what it takes, and everyone says that. So good luck for the future, Connor, and we'll see you on set.
thanks, Father. Bye.